Welcome to Kitchen Table Conversations, a series of short and shareable conversation starters for those of us who have or love and support people with a complicated and beautiful brain. Here's your host, Angela Geddes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Kitchen Table Conversations. I'm your host, Angela, and I just wanted to reach out and say thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks so much for the interest and the suggestions around Kitchen Table Conversations, and I'm just so happy to hear that these conversations are, in fact, hitting some of your kitchen tables. For further debate and further inspiration and a desire to learn a little bit more, and in some cases to be able to be part of the change. So coincidentally, today is Wednesday, January 24th, and it happens to be Bell Let's Talk Day here in Canada. Since 2011, I'm understanding Canadians and people around the globe have joined in, I think it's the world's largest conversation around mental health, and it happens to be on this very day. So Bell Media is very proud to say that they have taken some pretty big steps to reduce. I think primarily their goal is to keep conversations going so that we can reduce the stigma and make it so that people are more apt to reach out and more apt to search out and look for appropriate and helpful mental health supports for themselves and maybe people who they love and support in their own communities. So I think from that perspective, we need to give some kudos out to Bell Let's Talk, because there certainly has been a lot more conversations going. Also encourage you to check out their website, because they do have a really neat toolkit that provides a lot of resources and things that you can bring home to your own kitchen tables and, do some coloring or create some journals that might help with mental wellness overall. The problem that sometimes arises with more conversations around a particular issue is that it does result in more need for services. And unfortunately, I think most of us, or any of us who've tried to access mental health services in our province, we know that the wait lists are long. We know that the programs and services are less than what they need to be in order to meet the high demand. And so there's always that kind of catch-22. And Bell Media in their discussions and on their website, they do acknowledge that it's their desire to help create a Canada where everyone can access the mental health supports that they need. But it is absolutely clear that more needs to be done. And I think from my perspective, too, I'm very grateful for the work that Bell Media is doing towards this mental health campaign and certainly raising awareness and reducing stigma. I think that if you've been following me, that's a huge goal of mine as well, and I think that has to continue. However, I wasn't really a big fan of what happened to Lisa LaFlamme last year, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I have a clue of what really went on, and I'm not here to make judgments around whether or not Lisa LaFlamme should still be anchoring the news. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that when we value things like mental wellness, but yet put people who have worked really hard and obviously gained a lot of respect and quite a following, I'm sure there were HR issues that none of us will ever know. But the bottom line is there are ways that we can support some of these transitions if they do need to happen. And I think that to blindside somebody and to make it so incredibly awkward and uncomfortable and leave somebody, and many of us, with so many questions. And I have to say that I have worked for a couple of different agencies. And what's really ironic to me, and I think that's really important to make reference and note of, is that I'm a social worker. I work with medical teams. I work with helpers of all kinds. And we do apparently value mental wellness and workplace safety. But I have literally worked for organizations where one day an employee is being supported because they are currently living with domestic violence, and then within a week they are let go of an organization without cause, without any real reason for it. The position is still there, just a shuffle within the organization. New management comes in. They happen to be given information that they feel they need to act on, and the next thing you know, within a very short time frame, I think there were 17 people leave an organization due to HR issues, and having seen people dedicate 10 plus years to an organization to then all of a sudden be walked out the door as if you're some sort of criminal. I'm not really sure that people understand the gravity of actions like that and what the implications are for not only the individual, but for the family members too. So we say, on one hand, as organizations and as healthcare providers, that we value mental wellness, but I'm not sure that we always demonstrate beyond a superficial level what it really means to support mental wellness and overall good health within organizations and within our adult population. So there, I said it. I think that there are still many, many problems with stigma and misunderstanding and with our superficial efforts to support people. However, the conversations are continuing, and we can feel more than one thing at the same time. So as much as we can feel a little bit concerned around some of the HR policies within an organization, that doesn't mean the whole organization is terrible and they're not capable of doing some really good things. And I think Bell Let's Talk is a really prime example of that. But this whole conversation and the Point of Kitchen Table conversations is about to highlight some of those discrepancies and to make sure that when we say something, we really mean it, and that we all remain a little bit curious to dig a little bit deeper to really understand the implications of our words, of our actions, of our jokes, of our tendencies to kind of minimize or dismiss the need for counseling. I hear it all the time. And I kind of find that a little bit odd, given that I am actually a therapist. I think sometimes the people around me forget that. So let's get back to Bell Let's Talk. I encourage you to check out my website because there's a lot of links and information there to help us understand the statistics, help us understand some of the language and terminology that we can use to help reduce stigma, where to get access for some support. So check out my website for that. And in the meantime, we'll go back to some of the messaging from Bell Let's Talk in terms of how we can all be a part of this new year and, doing what we can to make positive changes and to take action towards improving our mental health services and supports. So they're suggesting that we all can create change and real change by doing one or more of the following. So they've used the word change as the acronym, with the first word being choose a mental health organization to learn more about or to even support. You may want to consider making some donations, or if you've got some toys or some used things that you're no longer needing that maybe the organizations will benefit from. Feel free to reach out and learn more about that. Help a friend who may be struggling with their mental health by learning how to support them. So CAMH, which is a Center of Addictions and Mental Health, has a certificate program that all of us can take to learn how to be more supportive to people within our community without necessarily being a professional in this field. And the next word is ask how your school, or how your workplace or how your community is creating change and improving circumstances for mental wellness overall. And the next word is nurture, and that focuses on nurturing your own well-being by practicing and learning mental health strategies that will help to keep you well. I was just doing a support group last night, and although I'm hesitant to use the words self-care, I do think that it's really important to demonstrate to the people that we love and we provide care for that we value our own health and all aspects of it. And when we prioritize our health, that does help the people around us because we get to be healthier and stronger to be able to provide the kind of supports and that sometimes our family members demand of us. But then also it demonstrates to them that we all are important and we all have needs that need to be understood and supported in good ways. The next word is get, and that refers to getting involved in a mental health initiative or organize an event to support mental health and wellness. And the last word begins with E, and it says engage in conversations about mental health and ways that we all can be a part of fighting the stigma that so often is attached. So I've given a few ideas here, and certainly, again, there's some more links to my website. So check it out. And as always, thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks so much for bringing this conversation back home to your kitchen tables. With many, many thanks, Angela.